A very good evening and welcome to Newsline. I am Claire Adelabu Abdul Razak. Tonight's program takes us on a delightful tour from the enchanting springs of Ekiti to vibrant festivities and remarkable triumphs in Lagos. Now we have a pastry store of those sweet and cherished stories that bring warmth to our hearts and, of course, smiles to our faces. So, strap yourselves in. I'll be your pilot-in-chief tonight, guiding you through both the news segment and Newsline proper. You know, when it's 9 p.m. here on Sunday, your day just became that little bit more engaging, courtesy of the NTA. I'll be right back with the news. President Bola Tinubu congratulates all the winners of Saturday, August 16 by-elections in 16 constituencies across 12 states. The president commends the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for the heat-free elections, mostly devoid of violence. Following the results declared by INEC, the All Progressives Congress, APC, won in 12 constituencies. The All Progressives Grand Alliance, Abuja, won in 2. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, 1 in 1, and the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, 1 in 1 as well. President Tinubu congratulates the new APC National Chairman, Professor Netawe Yilwada, for the emphatic first victory recorded under his leadership. He also congratulates the APC governors and other leaders on the success of the by-elections. President Tinubu commends all the political parties and candidates who participated in the election and enjoins them to continue to be guided by the spirit of sportsmanship, fair contest, magnanimity, which are enablers of enduring democracy. Meanwhile, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has announced results in some constituencies amongst the 12 states of the Federation, where elections were held Saturday, August 16th, 2025. Annie Daniels compiled some of the outcomes for us.
From Onitsha, Steve Lona Nwokolo reports that the All Progressives Grand Alliance candidate Abga for the Onitsha North constituency won. Mimi former Azikiwe emerged winner after beating her African Democratic Congress opponent. While Adeshola Ayola Elebeji of All Progressives Congress, APC, has been declared winner of Remo Federal Constituency by INEC in Ogun State.
The just completed by-election in the Kene, Shagamu, and Remo North Federal Constituency has written a new chapter in our democratic story. The victory did not come by chance. It is the result of dedication.
While in Jigawa State, Professor Salih Ibrahim Ismail, returning officer of the by-election, declares Mokhtar Rabiu Garki of the APC winner of the Garki Federal Constituency with 38,449 votes.
Rabiu Garki of APC, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
Felix Bagudu of APC emerged winner of the by-election in Chikun Gajuru Federal Constituency seat in Kaduna State, having secured 75% of the total votes. And in Kogi State, Ayodele Bibemi reports that the by-election for Kuratu State Constituency, Musa Hassan Yakubu of the All Progressives Congress has been declared winner.
Having satisfied the requirement of the law and scored the highest vote of 55072, have been declared as the winner of this election.
And in Anambra South Senatorial District, Dr. Emmanuel Wachuku of APGA has been declared winner after securing 9,640 votes. In Abuja, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
All right, away from the by-elections now to other stories. Now, 3 years after launching a manhunt for him over drug trafficking offences, a 36-year-old notorious drug kingpin has been arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, in Asaba, Delta State. Now, the suspect was caught while attempting to move 250 blocks of skunk in his distribution bus. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim brings us the NDLEA's weekly update.
The suspect came under searchlight in connection with the seizure of 24.137 kilograms of skunk and 10 grams of molly, but thereafter went underground. However, following credible intelligence, NDLEA operatives in Delta State were able to arrest him along with one of his aides while they were trying to move 250 parcels of skunk for distribution. In Lagos, a 52-year-old woman was arrested with her son by NDLEA operatives in Mushin for storing and distributing 298 blocks of Ghanaian loud, while another suspect was snapped in the Aja area of Lekki, where 8.5 kilograms of Canadian loud, a strain of cannabis, was recovered from their apartment. No less than 128,000 capsules of tramadol were recovered from a suspect who was arrested by NDLEA officers at Jauroja, Tau, Gombe State, while a total of 337,800 capsules of the same pharmaceutical opioid were seized by operatives on patrol along the Okene-Lokoja Highway, Kogi State, from the driver of a commercial bus coming from Onitsha, Anambra State, and heading to Kontagora in Niger State. And at the Port Harcourt Complex, One, River State, a total of 875,000 bottles of Kodimbi syrup worth over 6.1 billion naira in street value and 3,500,000 pills of tramadol valued at 1.7 billion naira were recovered from 5 containers. In Abuja, Sadwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Actions, they say, speak louder than words, and that perhaps captures Zenith Bank's philosophy. Long before technology became the lifeblood of global finance, its founder and chairman, Jim Ovia, had already woven innovation into the bank's DNA to nurture the dreams of a nation. Now, this spirit of continuity was echoed by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the bank's 35th anniversary in Lagos, where both individuals and organizations were also recognized. Diana Ajali was there.
In May 1990, entrepreneur Jim Ovia saw an opportunity to create something unique. So, he established Zenith Bank PLC, embracing innovation as a philosophy and passion, offered a unique pathway for Zenith Bank, and today it is one of the biggest in Africa, with shareholders' funds growing from 20 million naira in 1990 to 4 trillion as of December 2024.
To our esteemed customers and shareholders, thank you for your trust, confidence, and shared vision. To our regulators, to my friends and partners, you have been a source of strength.
The bank's 35th anniversary was graced by Vice President Kashim Shettima, Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu represented, captains of industry and other dignitaries.
At the heart of this story is the master of foresight, the architect of dreams, the conjurer of possibilities. It's none other than my mentor, Mr. Jim Ovia.
President Bola Tinubu sent a congratulatory message to Zenith Bank. The ceremony also featured the recognition of long-service staff, some Zenith Bank customers, and corporate organizations.
We want to thank you for empowering us. We want to thank you for turning dreams into reality.
These awards actually testify to the excellence you instilled in us from day one.
For 16 consecutive years now, Zenith Bank PLC has maintained its position as the biggest bank in Nigeria by Tier 1 capital with multiple awards, with branches in the United Arab Emirates, Paris, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and representative office in China. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu felicitates with former military president General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida on his 84th birthday. President Tinubu rejoices with the family, friends and associates of the former military leader whose 8 years of rule greatly impacted Nigeria's socio-economic and political development. Celebrating General Babangida's distinguished military career, including serving as Director of Army Staff Duties and Plans and Chief of Army Staff, among others. The President notes General Babangida's stewardship of the country, saying his military administration will be remembered for its massive investment in infrastructure, such as the Third Mainland Bridge in Lagos. The former military leader also established the State Security Service, National Intelligence Agency (NIA), Defense Intelligence Agency (DIA), and the Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC), as well as State's creation, among others. Thanking him for his sacrifice and leadership, the President praised Almighty Allah to grant the former military leader more years and renewed strength. And Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, joins family, friends, loved ones, and the Christian community to rejoice with the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission, Bishop Stephen Adegbite, on his 57th birthday, describing the life of the celebrant as one marked by deep faith in Jesus Christ and timeless service to God and the country. The First Lady, in a birthday message, says, Bishop Adegbite is a spiritual leader who stands firm in truth and justice, and a patriot, championing peace and interfaith harmony across the nation. She prays that God's presence keeps the celebrant now and forevermore. All right. Just to say that the Tigers this evening defeated their Cameroonian counterpart in the ongoing Afro-basket competition by a slim margin, I would say. But for details, let's join Bade Adeleye, who's standing by. Bade, what do you think? Is it really a slim margin?
You can call it slim, but that was huge because no one gave it to the Tigers coming into this competition. So they've been doing so well, going by all standards. All right, just like you heard, let's begin with basketball as Nigeria's senior men's basketball team, the Tigers, rounded off their group campaign at the 2025 AfroBasket by booking their place in the quarterfinals of the competition in Luanda, Angola. The 2015 champions continued their winning streak with an impressive 99-90 win over Cameroon in their last group game. They had earlier beaten Madagascar and defended champions Tunisia in their first two matches. All right, let's turn our attention to football now, and we'll begin with the 2024 African Nations Championship, popularly known as CHAN, as Morocco sealed a 3-1 victory over DR Congo to clinch their place in the quarterfinals of the competition. The two-time champions needed a draw to advance, and it took Osama Lamlaou 2 goals to seal a dominant victory. Elsewhere at the Moi International Sports Center, co-host Kenya edged Zambia 1-0, courtesy of a resilient performance which preserved their unbeaten run in Group A. The Harambee Stars finished 10 points on top of the group. And away from the African continent now to the English Premier League, where Manchester United goalkeeper Antai Bayinda and the video assistant referee were the talking points on Sunday. And of course, Manchester United lost their opening match of the season against Arsenal despite giving the dominant performance. Ricardo Calafiori's 13th minute header was the difference. And of course, that gave Arsenal an opening win of the season at Old Trafford. And at Stamford Bridge, Eberechi Eze-Stoner was ruled out by VAR following an unusual law as Crystal Palace held Chelsea to a goalless draw. Elsewhere, Olaino's Nottingham Forest put up a dominant display to open their Premier League campaign with a 3-1 win over Brentford. And that's a bit on sports tonight. Let's now return to Claire.
Thank you, Bade, and congratulations to the D Tigers. Back here, the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, NSCIA, under the leadership of its President General, the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Mohammed Saad Abubakar, has commended the acts of justice, fairness, and inclusivity exhibited by the governor of Katsina State, Dr. Diko Umar Datta, through the reintroduction of Christian religious studies in primary and secondary schools across the state. This development is worthy of commendation, especially as it conforms once again to the Islamic principles of fairness. While the NSCIA supports the teaching of Christian religious studies in Muslim-dominated states, it however calls for reciprocity in Christian-dominated parts of the Federation, urging the governors of the southeastern, south-southern, and south-southwestern states, where the teaching of Islamic religious studies IRS is prohibited, to learn from the good example of Governor Radda. Now, the Kebbi State government has announced the death of the Emir of Zuru, Major General Mohammed Sani Sami II. Kebbi State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Garba Umar Dusimari, disclosed that the monarch died after a brief illness in a London hospital at the age of 81. He left behind 4 wives and 7 children. The Kebbi State government extends its heartfelt condolences to his immediate family, Zuru Emirate Council, the people of Zuru, and the entire people of Kebbi State. Burial arrangements will be announced later. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has expressed sadness over the passing of the Emir of Zuru, His Royal Highness Major General Muhammadu Sani Sami Gamo II. The president described the death of the retired general and one-time military governor of Bauchi State as a loss for the country. President Tinubu says Nigeria would long remember the late Emir's contributions as an administrator and revered traditional ruler, who served as a young military officer and during the Civil War between 1967 and 1970. The president acknowledges the late royal father's sterling leadership, which he says helps bring stability and development to the Zuru Emirate and Kebbi State, and prayed Almighty Allah to grant him eternal rest and comfort his family and subjects. And Vice President Kashim Shettima has also expressed grief over the passing of the Emir of Zuru in Kebbi State, Major General Muhammadu Sani Sami, describing his death as a monumental loss to Nigeria's traditional institution. In a condolence message, the Vice President says the late Emir was an eminent leader who exemplified the rare combination of military discipline, traditional wisdom, and community service that defined Nigeria's post-independence leadership generation. Offering prayers for the repose of the Emir's soul, Vice President Kashim Shettima expressed confidence that his legacy would endure in the hearts and minds of those he served. All right, in a different story, the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, congratulates the Alara of Ilara Kingdom in Ekpe Division in Lagos State. Oba Olufolarin Olukayode Ogunsanwo Delade V on the occasion of his 5th coronation anniversary. Felicitating with Oba Olufolarin Olukayode Ogunsanwo on his 5th coronation anniversary, the Sultan of Sokoto commended the Oba for his steadfast commitment to delivering exceptional service and guarding his people with the dignity and wisdom that traditional leadership embodies. The statement also says Oba Ogunsanwo has significantly contributed to the progress and well-being of the Ilara Kingdom, in particular Lagos State and Nigeria in general. The Sultan prays that God grant him strength, good health, enhanced wisdom, and the prosperity necessary for him to fulfill his noble responsibilities. All right, let's take a quick look at the weather forecast for Monday across the country.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on the weather forecast. For Monday, temperatures are expected to continue to drop with colder air settling in. and there is a good chance of morning rains around the coastal cities of Cross River and Akwa Ibom states. There are still possibilities of morning rains around the Federal Capital Territory, Niger, Nasarawa, Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, and Gombe states, with some rumbling of thunder along the northeastern states. Progressing into the afternoon and evening hours, the chances of rains are expected more across the north and some parts of the north central and the southern region. Stand by for the temperature forecast. Have a good week.
And that ends the news segment of Newsline. So fasten your seatbelts. The Newsline airway is about to take off in just a moment.